All right. Cool. Sweet. Tight. Welcome back. Freaking bunch of monkeys just talking about nonsense, dude. So, cheers. That's good coffee. Okay. I got a cool little topic today, man. I want to talk to you guys about either working in a major studio or being independent, freelancing. As an engineer, because I think both have a pro and a con to them, and I get asked a lot about, how I manage to be independent. And at the same time, I kind of envy the guys who work in the major recording studios, There's definitely benefits to both. Neither one is better than the other, but if you're somebody who wants to get into this, or you're thinking about going in one or the other direction, then here's just a little bit of insight. Here's my opinion, so maybe this kind of helps, dude. And if I miss anything, please feel free, put it in the comments. I'm pretty receptive to other stuff, This would actually be a great podcast I could probably do. I could probably bring some of my buddies on who work in big studios and but anyways, let's get into it. So let's start with working in a studio, okay? I will say, I think I'll just start with this. I'm gonna say it's more necessary to at least have the experience of working in a big studio. We're talking like facilities that are $1 million plus, right? A lot of those guys tend to kind of go in and out of working there and then being independent, or I know that some of those dudes, their goal is to be independent, but they're starting out there, and I agree with that. I think if you're gonna pick one or the other, or you don't know what you want to do, my advice is get a little experience out of your house, record your buddies, learn Pro Tools, and try to get some kind of internship at a major studio, and then from there you can make a decision on what you want to do. Major studio, the pros. The biggest one to me is the just experience of working in one. You're working with other engineers who have been doing this for a long time. They understand the tricks and the trades that you just won't find on YouTube, or it might take you years to figure out by yourself, or it'll just save you a lot of time and heartache and trial and error working with those people. Plus you get the hands-on experience of actually recording with, setting up stuff for bands and just all these little techniques that you would never know, right? You learn stuff about the business. You're seeing firsthand what sessions look like with A-list clients and how to go about that. And so being around those people is invaluable, and you can't really get that anywhere else. So the experience that you gain from working in a studio is the biggest pro to me, and sometimes may outweigh actually being independent. The other one is kind of goes along with that, is just the gear, right? Like you get to work with millions of dollars worth of gear and stuff that you would only dream of buying, or that they don't even make anymore, and just learning how they all work together and what mics pair well with this compressor and what mics to use here, and you just get the luxury of turning a bunch of cool freaking knobs, dude. So that's always nice. There's definitely a technique when it comes to working with analog gear, and not all gear sounds the same. So definitely the gear is awesome. The other thing is the opportunity. So when I worked at Supersound in Atlanta, one thing I noticed is, there was a lot of A-list clients that would come in there, and I didn't have to do anything, right? They just showed up. Now that doesn't mean I get to interact with them as an intern, but there's an opportunity to. You never know. But you're walking around, you're integrated with like a group potentially, and there's just that chance that you might click with somebody and make friends within that group, and you never know, But also as an engineer, you get to record a major artist, and now you have that credit, or you get those points, and so there's that opportunity that you didn't have to do anything except work there, right? And I think that's the fastest way if you want to be accredited with those prestige awards like a Grammy, or some kind of plaque on the wall, is to be where those things are made. As being independent, that's a very difficult opportunity to create, and we'll talk about that later. So you have the opportunity to work with major artists more often than not. The other thing I've noticed is big studios usually host events. Like I was at Tree Sound Studios a couple weeks ago. just like an open house event thing. Hey, come check out the studio, talk with other engineers and producers. And, you know, that's great to be able to network. And you want that because that's how you learn. That's how you develop other leads. That's how you just establish who you are in the industry and build a reputation and just learn. I don't think I would ever just have an event in my home studio. Like, I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be like, hey, come check out this SSL console that they no longer make. This is like the 11th one ever made in the world. This is the first one. Like, I think Treesound has like the first SSL in the US or something like that. I don't know, dude. Again, I'm a smooth brain fucking monkey. I don't remember very well, but you know, just little things like that. It's pretty cool. The other thing is there's like, this could either be a pro and a con. You have competition, okay? There's a bunch of engineers working at this studio and everybody is fighting for that, you know, placement or to work with this artist, or maybe someone's trying to grind it out and just really put in the work and make a little extra money and get their name out there and do as much as they can. And that can be great. That can help everybody else out. I'm a big fan and advocate for competitive environments. However, the con can be just that for some people. You know, not everybody has that personality to like put themselves out there, and they're very passive aggressive about things, and maybe they're just not very vocal about it, or they're too nice, and you just don't thrive in that environment. It's not for you, even though you might technically be capable and you might be the best engineer, but if you don't know how to sell yourself, if you don't know how to put yourself out there and create opportunity for yourself, then you're just not going to make it. That can kind of leave some people behind, which eventually can lead to you getting like fired. That's the other thing. You're employed by this studio or contracted by the studio, which means you could be let go and now you're out of work. So, oof, which leads me into the cons. Now, for me, the biggest con of a studio is the fragility of the room that you're in. These major labels are spending a shitload of money for their artists to be there. It could be up to $5,000 a day, dude. You know, there's no time to bullshit, right? Time is money. They're paying by the hour. They got you by the hour, or however you do your rates. So things need to go as efficiently as possible with the least amount of error. I mean, shit's gonna happen, but you need to be very fast and on your toes about what's going on, or people are gonna start losing their fucking minds, bro. But also you have to be so careful about what you say, how you say it. People have egos, especially in a creative environment where you might feel your input could work, but maybe that's the best time for you to shut the fuck up. Best advice I ever got was from a former Delta Force guy. He told me before I went into the military, he was like, hey man, never pass up the opportunity to shut the fuck up, even if you're right and even if you're wrong. And it has definitely saved me a whole lot, but my mouth can also get me in trouble. So for me personally, I didn't like that aspect to where I am being paid to be here. You want me to help you facilitate this record. However, I don't have as much input because I'm not with the label, or I'm not in the clique, I'm not in the group, then I'd rather just not even be in the room, you know? It's just really annoying how fragile some people can be. It's more the social dynamic than it is like the professional setting. And I get it, I really do. But it is kind of annoying when I have to monitor what I'm saying. You know, I'm not someone to filter what I say. I like to get it off my chest, but you can't always do that. So you have to be very careful with the rooms. And again, even if you want to like promote yourself and say, hey man, like if you ever need an engineer, like call me. Like sometimes that's a no-no, man. It makes it more difficult to negotiate yourself in those rooms because they don't have time for you to be like, hey, like I'm an engineer and I'm advocating for engineers to get splits now, right? To get a percentage of these royalties. Like, yeah, fucking right, dude. It would be very difficult to tactfully talk about that in a studio that is not yours, where there's no time to just talk about, like, you have to set it up for a later day, or, you know, but sometimes you don't even know who's coming in and you're just on call. That dynamic, not a big fan of. The other thing is, it's not your gear. It's not your stuff. It's not your room, not your facility. So if anything happens, if you damage anything, you are possibly liable for the damage. I can't tell you how many times I have walked with a $10,000 microphone and I'm sweating fucking bullets. I'd rather be walking with top secret sensitive information across a border than be holding this microphone and have to pay 10 G's, dog. Like, that shit sucks. If it's my mic and I drop and I break a $10,000 mic, then damn it, that's my $10,000 mic. It is what it is. I don't gotta hear it from somebody else. Cool, you know? I don't have to like lightly be touching knobs so I don't break the CL1B, you know what I'm saying? The other thing is, most likely you're gonna start as an intern at a major studio and kind of have to prove your worth and work yourself up, which is fine. You know, I kind of agree with that. You definitely need to see how the place is ran, get to know people, learn the ropes, be verified and validated from other guys there, because there's a lot of money on the line. And again, people don't have time to waste. So people need to know that you know what you're doing, and you gotta earn the apples, dude. You know, you gotta take out the trash a little bit. You know, when I interned at Supersound, like, I'm an adult and I already had like a career before that, you know, so clearly I don't need to prove the character there, but it's not beneath me to take out the trash and to go, you know, do some runs for guys. Like, I didn't care. Like, I got it, man. You know, I'm a junior on the team, but some people don't like that. They come back from schools to go to Crass or go to Full Sail and they feel like they're too good for shit like that. A little bit of humility can go a long way, man. Some people feel entitled that they don't need to do that, and if you think that you might be that way, then maybe that's not for you. You know, you're gonna have to suck it up and do the thing, man. And also, of course, you have to travel to and from the studio, which isn't a big deal. It's a job, you know, but a lot of studios are in prime areas, right? Like, and here in Atlanta, a lot of them are in the metropolitan area, and so it's not cheap to live in Atlanta. So you might have to live in the suburbs or on the outskirts, which, you know, traffic sucks, but it's not like LA bad. But you're gonna have you know, maybe an hour drive to and from, because usually when you get to a studio, it might be at night during prime traffic hour, and then you might stay all night and leave in the morning when it's prime traffic hour. So definitely travel can kind of suck, and plus, if you're an intern, you're gonna be driving all over the streets all day, so there you go. Oh, yes, last, you can't always choose your client. You don't always have a say in who you work with at a major studio. You're gonna kind of take what's given to you, which can be a good and bad thing. If you don't like the person, then it kind of sucks. You're just kind of working for the money at that point. You're just doing the thing, just smile and wave, you know? But also, it could be a pro where you get to work with someone that you wouldn't have found yourself and is really awesome, and maybe it's a A-list client and now you're on a multi-platinum record. Cool, you just got a cool little credit there. But also, if it is someone you don't like, then you're kind of stuck dealing with them, which does suck, but you know, you do what you gotta do, man. So that's the major stuff. Let's get into the independent world. This is what I do. This is what I get questions about all the time from guys who work in studios who are just a little bit curious. So we'll start with the pros here. The pro, the biggest one, it's my studio, dude. Like, I own all this gear. This is my space. I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. I don't gotta go through anybody. Again, if I drop this mic right here, it's on me, man. And that's cool, right? I don't gotta worry about paying anybody back. I don't need permission, you know what I mean? I'll say this, you know, 5 years in the military, dude, you get tired of people telling you what to do. So I literally like the sense of independence. No offense to Supersound, but I don't mind taking orders. Tell me what to do, I'll do it. I would have done anything for anybody in that building, man. But at the end of the day, damn, I was tired of being told what to do. I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to work for the man. So that's what I did. And I really enjoy that. I enjoy the responsibility of it being on me. That's just me personally. A lot of this independent stuff that I'm gonna say is gonna be just to you only. Like, this is just my opinion, right? We'll just kind of segue into, I get to choose my own clients. Only onboard like 2 or 3 people at once because I enjoy allocating my time towards that person and them getting what they want. I don't like to work with too many people at once. Like, yeah, volume's great. I can make a little more money, but is the quality gonna be there? Probably not. I might get a little lost in who I'm working on, and especially when it comes to recall and some of this stuff, that kind of sucks. But I don't have somebody looking over my shoulder in the studio. I don't have to worry about a fragile room. I'm gonna call it a fragile room. I could do what I wanna do, send it to the client. We got revisions, cool, let's fix it. Or I can have them on FaceTime and we can make an adjustment right there, you know? I also have like more opportunity to work with people around the world in different genres than where some studios, they kind of only have one type of client and they are all coming there. So, you know, I can focus on maybe the UK or Australia, right? If I got a client from there, it's like, all right, cool. I have an opportunity to work a different style of music, work with different kind of people. That's cool. And again, I can take not as long as I want. I have deadlines, but I don't have the pressure of performing right then and there, which I think makes me a better engineer. So I have my own workflow, right? I don't need permission on rerouting IOs. I don't have a huge credenza with a million freaking cables that, God forbid, have to be rearranged for whatever reason, which probably wouldn't. But if I need to rearrange something, I can, and I don't have to get permission to do so. So having my own established workflow in a room that I know is really, really nice. Oh, yeah, and I'm in my own home, right? Now, for me personally, I think this is a con. Other people might say that's great. You just be able to roll out of bed, walk into my studio and like start my day, have my cup of coffee, cheers. That's nice. But for me, I have kind of not, I want my own building. I want to be able to drive there, and on that drive, I kind of lock in, shift my mindset about what I'm gonna do. And then when I'm at that studio, like that is what I'm focused on. And then on my drive home, I can decompress and then reset my brain to do something else because I do a lot of shit. Whereas here in my house, if you got kids or you got roommates or whatever, significant other, then you're gonna have a lot of distractions, which kind of leads me to, you don't have an intern. You know, maybe you do, but usually I'm not gonna afford an intern. I'm not gonna wanna pay off an intern. So that takes away a lot of my time towards like the creative part. So I have to clean my own room, right? I gotta go down, I gotta make my own food. I have to stop what I'm doing to do other things that an intern would do, which kind of takes you out of the zone sometimes. You know, it's not the biggest deal, it's more of a convenience thing, but it definitely would save me a lot of time to have help, but I don't wanna pay for help. So I'd rather just do the work. The biggest thing that most people are gonna say is you get to set your own rates and you keep all the money. At a major studio, they have an hourly rate for their rooms, and then on top of that, you pay for the engineer's rate, right? So for me, I can save the artist a lot more money, which means I can get more clients, but also I get to keep all the money, which is nice. However, that's not to say if you work at a major studio, you can't bring in your own clients, but just know that like it's gonna cost them a little more. I also don't track a lot of people in here. If anything, like I track guys that I've known for years who I've developed a relationship with that are like friends of mine, or I track myself. The majority of my work is just mixing and mastering because I can send files to and from people all around the world. I can track a live band here. I could track a whole drum set, bass guitar. I could do all that, but I'd rather not. I don't want to bring people into my own home, which is another con for me of having it in my home studio, as a home studio, because I just don't trust people, right? I don't like strangers. Some people are different. Some people don't care. They can manage that. But me personally, I just don't want people in my house if I don't know you. So I kind of lose money there. Whereas if I have my own building, it'd be a little different, right? But yeah, I can collect my own money 100%. I can set my own rates. You know, I can make my own negotiations. That's great. That is the like sole purpose of being independent, right? But also that comes with me having to source my own clients. And I'll get into that in a second. I think the last pro for me is, it's a good segue into promoting yourself, right? In order to make money. There's a lot of ways that you can promote yourself being an independent engineer. I can use Fiverr. A lot of my clients came from TikTok, social media, and then over time, just word of mouth. Like nothing beats word of mouth. There's a lot of places like engineers. If you can get on with them, they'll shoot you clients. I haven't got completely onboarded with them yet, so I don't really know too much about that. I'm still waiting. I don't know. I don't even know how that works. I just signed up. I have no idea. Anyways, but Fiverr's great. Social media, I mean, it's just, it takes a little time, but once you get the ball rolling, a lot of these places, and just like me making this video right now, like hopefully this helps bring in more clients and leads me to bigger things. But that also means that it's on me. So let's get into the cons of being independent. I have to constantly promote myself and put myself out there and advertise myself, because the moment that I have a lull in work, that means I'm not making money, and that means that I'm not making an ROI on this studio. So you have to be a hustler. You have to know how to build relationships. You have to understand branding and marketing and advertisement a little bit. And not a lot of people know how to do that. And not everybody is personable enough to go out and just build relationships, you know? So that right there in itself requires a different type of person. Some of the guys that I met are very introverted dudes. They're very quiet, soft-spoken, really good at being an engineer, but when it comes to shaking hands and meeting people, like not the best at that. So if you're gonna be independent, either already have a huge client base or get really good at talking to people. So that is definitely always a stressor of, I know that it's, the momentum is on me, but I also like it at the same time. Oh, that also takes away from me being able to engineer. Again, I have to wear multiple hats. I have to make videos like this. I have to have a presence online. And that requires me to almost feel like I have another job as a content creator, because we are in the entertainment business, and this is where the majority of people's eyes are at, is on social media. So this is why I make these dumb videos, dudes, and why like this is so important. So if you're gonna be independent, or you wanna be independent, go buy a camera, be prepared to put yourself out there in ways that you really don't want to. Like I really never wanted to do the social media thing like this, but it is what it is. It's what I feel I have to do, and so far it's kind of worked. Okay, the other con. It is a little more difficult to have that like major artist opportunity. Yeah, there's gonna be a little more luck involved. A lot of my clients are not known, they're underground, and I don't always like the music that I get. Sometimes I also have to grind it out and just make the money, you know what I mean? It's not always good music. Every now and then I do get some really cool stuff, but the majority of it is just people that aren't known. They're independent artists, and they're trying to make their way. Any label work, you know, you definitely should have a lawyer. You need to have like all your business stuff in order ahead of time. That's kind of all on you, but that's a whole nother video. So if I were to work with a major artist, then I have to know how to negotiate that. I don't always have the opportunity like people do in a major studio. You know, you could just be in there one day and someone say, hey, I need you to do this session, and you walk in and it's for, I don't know, Christina Aguilera. Just saying. Like, I would have to go and make friends with somebody within her group in order to work with her, you know, or any major artist. So that being personable is like the most important thing in being independent. Now, also, I have limited myself because I don't know Pro Tools. I didn't go to school for this. I am all self-taught. So this has taken me years to figure out how to do. And again, in a major studio, you might get that experience 5 times faster, where I'm figuring this shit out on my own. Now I have developed relationships with other people. Like, we have all kind of sources, YouTube, my buddies who are also engineers. Like, sure, now you can speed it up. Like, I messed up and I didn't learn Pro Tools, so I've lost a lot of opportunity working with these major artists. When I get calls and it's like, shoot, we need you to be right here, and I'm like, what are y'all using? And they're like, Pro Tools. I'm like, I'm not the best at it. I was like, you guys can, you have somebody else track for you and then send me the mix. That's just me personally on how I do things, and that's like a little bottleneck for me. But hey, I am taking a Pro Tools course. I'm trying to learn it. I'm trying to get better at it. It just takes time, dude. Eventually, I'll be able to, you know, go work at other studios, contracted out, or just independent being brought in because I've built relationships with artists and I can go travel. So there's opportunity to travel. That's also if someone works at a major studio, there's no one holding you back from that. But it is nice to be able to just kind of move on a whim. What else? Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah. So again, man, one's not better than the other, but if I were to set a path for somebody who is like brand new and they're trying to figure out how to go about it, I would say learn as much as you can on your own. Learn Pro Tools, learn like a production software too, maybe FL, Ableton. Get familiar with a lot, but definitely I would focus on Pro Tools. This is if you like want to be a successful engineer. And then once you got a little bit of experience under your own belt, I would go apply for an internship at a big studio and then get experience in that environment, which is different on its own. And then from there, you can decide what is best for you. If you want to go be completely independent, then do that. But you'll learn a lot by being in a studio on whether that is right for you or not. They kind of go hand in hand. They kind of need each other for either which way you go. I think ultimately guys who work in big studios want to be completely independent, but have the ability to float in and out of both worlds. For me, it'd be great, but I don't want to work for a studio. I would want to work in it because I don't want to be tied down to the management of that studio. It'd be cool to just get on with an artist and just move around with them if I need to, but then I'm working for an artist or I'm working for that label or whatever, which is another story. But do whatever the fuck you want, dude. I don't care. And hey, if I missed something, if you guys got anything else to add, throw it in the comments, man. I'm just trying to help people out because, again, I'm not some super accredited guy. Like, I haven't had any crazy successes in the music business. I'm just a regular dude, and I feel like more people can relate to that. So these are just my 2 cents and what I've gathered through my experience. So, yeah, man. Peace.